Hey, good morning. Jay Nicholas and Chris Daughters at the Caddis Fly Shop. We're having fun here tying flies. This is a spring tie version of a Brad's Brat, and I'm going to. Now this is an old-time traditional steelhead fly. I'm going to use for this version. I want my thread kind of back to where I want this fly fairly full, so a little bit rear of the hook point. I'm going to tie in some lemon wood duck for a tail. So what's the difference between a winter tie and a spring tie? Well, winter tie, I want a little bit bolder profile, something that's going to it's going to make fish move from a greater distance. A spring tie, I'm going to, by the way, this is uni yarn. And you know, that tail's a little bit longer than I want it to be, so I'm going to... Anyway, the spring tie is just a little slimmer than the winter tie. So whereas I used dubbing, a fairly full body and medium tinsel for the winter tie, I'm going to use slimmer body. I'm going to use the uni yarn is so nice to work with. It handles well, it goes on well. I'm going to do a little double layer there for the rear of the body. Now I'm using orange and red. The original Brad's Brat used a yellow and red, and they used wool yarn, which was not particularly bright or fancy, but darn fly caught fish. And I can't believe that one couldn't just use the plain old wool yarn, but you know what, it's not a specialized fly tying material, and it doesn't seem ethical to buy body materials in the sewing section of Walmart. So we're going to use uni yarn instead. Besides, it's a brighter yarn. So I'm going to spin this on. And we're going to use a couple turns fewer, so I have room to tie it off, and I'm going to get it tied off. See how well that went? Hackle. The traditional used a brown hackle. This is a Coq de Leon. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yeah, Coq de Leon.
Coq de Leon. It's a whiting saddle hackle. I really only discovered these about a year ago. Beautifully barred, kind of a dark brownish. There's some golden hints to it. If you take a saddle from a feather from the base of the saddle hackle, they are long, they are webby, they are soft. They make a really nice collar hackle. You can tie spay hackles with these. So to me, they're a wonderful enhancement over the traditional brown. And they're just amazing quality. Now I like to, it's either spring or it's fall, and I like to tie these hackles fairly full. One could call this fly a spider-like. The spider style will use a fair amount of longish hackle. My summer flies, I like to use a much shorter hackle. But for my spring, fall, winter flies, I like a little bit bigger hackle, a little bit more authority to the profile. And again, Arctic Fox for the wing. It's always fun when I'm using these materials at home. Man, we get little tufts of wing material all over the house. then the cats find it, and you get little Arctic fur dust bunnies under the refrigerator. So there's the winging material. And I'm just going to put a little pinch of the Arctic fox over wing, and I'm use a little bit of guard hair here, make that fairly long. And in the winter tie, use 3 strands of crystal flash. In the spring tie, I only use 2 strands. And that, my friends, is a huge difference, because 3 is the right number for winter and 2 is the right number. Something like that.
What about a run back?
Celts, you forget everything. You just tie a big hunk of crystal flash on the hook and throw it out there, and if they're hungry enough, they'll chomp it. Actually, runbacks are funny. I've had days when there are lots of runbacks, and they will follow and follow and follow, and they will not eat the fly. Other days, boom, they're all over it. So just because they're there doesn't mean you're gonna catch them. So here you have Brad's Brat, Adaptation, Spring Tie.